You told me on the telephone I didn't stand a chance alone. You said I was a fool even to try.
You pictured me go down the drain, never to hear my name again. You waited for the time when you could hear me cry.
That I was ready to give in and say goodbye. Now you can look at me, can't you see? Full of life I am rolling. Look at me, can't you see? Who did you think you were fooling? Look at me.
How'd you like that little montage? I don't know if I have any audiophiles watching, but I do know because of this car, I have a few Volvo nerds watching. They made an album, a whole 40-minute album of music that's like Volvo music. That, you know, like they produced the music back in 1987. So I was like, you know, why not? I've been listening to it for like a while. I just jam out to it all the time in the car, in the gym, wherever. So I thought that that was a good way to start off this video. If you don't know me or my car, I'm Bern and this is Casper, my 2013 Volvo S60 T6 R design, and this is my 117,000 mile update video. So I don't know if you can tell, but a few things have changed with the exterior of my car in the past few months since the last update video. The first thing I want to talk about is the mirror caps. I painted them black with spray paint, 10 bucks, because the newer R design Volvos have black mirror caps and I wasn't really a fan of the silver mirror caps that were on this before and other P3 R design Volvos, so I wanted to make sure I did that. The next thing I want to do after the mirror caps is black out. I'm probably going to get it wrapped, black out all of this silver trim around the windows. But speaking about things being black, the roof has been black, but while we're speaking about the roof, I got an OEM Volvo roof rack. I found it on Marketplace for 80 bucks shipped. I was so happy about it because since I had my Honda Accord Betty White 3 years ago, I've always wanted a roof rack. So, you know, it's sturdy. I just really like how it looks on the car. I like how roof racks look on sedans. I mean, just look at it. It looks like athletic, like I go skiing in the wintertime, which I don't do that. But I do plan on putting like a bike rack on it, you know, because I do go mountain biking. I know it doesn't really look like it, but I do like mountain biking. So I have a lot of plans for it. One of the few other changes to this car is that Casper finally has a little bit of a growl. I got the Borla 40744 muffler on it. It was $300. It's a transverse muffler. Is it worth the price? I'm honestly not that sure because the car isn't loud enough. It sounds good. There is definitely a noticeable difference outside. Inside, I only hear a low rumble and that's it. So I definitely want to make the car louder, and what I'm going to do is just, you know, go full send, delete the muffler, but put an aftermarket resonator in it. That's what I've done in a few of my other cars, and it's honestly the perfect volume. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but I'm going to wait a little bit because it was a little bit expensive to buy the muffler and then install it. So not much has changed in the rear of the car. The only thing that I did want to mention is that I finally got a new shark fin antenna for it, because a few months ago when I got the roof wrapped, the old connectors on the old antenna snapped, so I lost my Sirius and my navigation. So I finally was able to find one on eBay for 40 bucks. I put it in, you know, it's pretty simple, and now all my stuff works again. So I'm pretty happy about that. So now probably comes the big old question, what's gone wrong with my Volvo? If anything has gone wrong, and then let's do a little bit of fluid checks while we're under the hood. So I wrote a few things down on a piece of paper and took a picture of it on my phone, just so I remember what to talk about. So not a lot has gone wrong or changed under the hood of this car. Still the same 3-liter turbo inline 6, 325 horsepower, 354 pound-feet of torque. This engine, fantastic, no issues with it, but there are a few things that I do want to mention. The first thing, since I'm looking at it, is the battery. While I was in Florida, I drove the car to Florida. That's the first thing actually I want to mention. I got 32 miles a gallon at 80 miles an hour in cruise control the whole way down to Florida. I left Maryland with a full tank of gas, and I only filled up once in like South Carolina or Georgia, made it the rest of the way. Same thing on the way back. There is one thing, I'm losing track on this thing, but there is one thing I did want to talk about. While I was in Florida, this car really suffered from, I guess I'd call it heat soak, because apparently turbo Volvos, and I know turbo cars in general, but turbo Volvos really do not like heat. It felt like a 3.2 liter XC90. It did not have the same thrust that it has up here, or especially when it's cold out. So the fix to that is a bigger intercooler. So I'm gonna do that eventually, but it's 800 bucks that I don't have right now. So I'm gonna wait for that. But in the meantime, for people that have T6 Volvos and the car does not feel like itself, don't worry. The battery was 150 bucks. Pretty simple to replace. The only thing with the R designs is that you have to take off the strut bar, which isn't much of a problem either. Also, while we're under the hood, since Volvos, at least 6-cylinder Volvos, are known to drink a little bit of oil, let's do an oil check right now. It's full. It's exactly full. So I checked the oil weekly, so I like knew about it, but since I last changed the oil, I haven't had to top it off at all. And I drive this car pretty aggressively sometimes. Well, at least on the weekends, I like to have fun with it. So there is two other things that I want to mention. The first thing happened pretty recently, maybe a month ago or something, in Florida. I think it was the heat that caused this, at least the humidity, is my driver's door, my keyless entry, does not work. But see, the car is locked. But the rear door, okay, it works. So I did watch a few videos on it. I did try to take the door handle off and spray the contacts with contact cleaner, and that did work periodically, but now it just doesn't do anything at all. And I haven't even bothered with it because it doesn't bother me that much. But I do want to figure that out because I like having it. It's convenient. You just walk up to the car and open it. All 3 other doors in the trunk work except the driver's door. I wouldn't mind if it was like a rear door, but the driver's door. After that, a few months ago, I did have to replace, I think I did this right before I went to Florida, so in like June, but Casper felt like a completely different car after the alignment. It tracks better, corners better, even just like going up and down the road is just straight. I can let go of the wheel and it doesn't pull anywhere, it doesn't feel anything, because it chewed up my front tires before. The tires were brand new when I got the car, and I didn't even put 3,000 miles on them, and they were garbage. So for things that I want to do to the car, I have it separated in mods and preventative maintenance. Let's do maintenance first. So the first 2 things that I want to do to the car before I mod it are replace the trans fluid and the Haldex fluid. Also the rear diff fluid. Just all the fluids in the car, I want to replace them, just so I can make sure that I'm at stage 0, don't have to worry about anything, and then I'll start digging into the mods. So what I want to do to this car, which I mentioned before, is I want to focus on handling first and then power, because the car is plenty powerful for me right now. The only thing for power that I'd like to do, well, power, is an intake, but that's mostly just to hear more turbo noises. But for handling, I want to get IPD rear sway bars, because apparently that really stiffens the rear end of this car up. And since I was speaking about tires, I have wheel and tire planned this car that I'm not exactly sure what I want to do yet. So right now it has the 18-inch Ixion wheels on it. I want to keep these wheels as a winter set, so I want to put snow tires on these. But I want to get a different set, maybe 19-inch wheels for summer tires. And for summer tires, I either want to do Pilot Sports like everyone else does, or on Betty, my Accord, my old Accord, I put ST1s on them. Beautiful. They were the best tires I've ever experienced that were under like $500. They were great. It was a night and day difference. The car really stuck. Those tires were cheap but sticky. They were great in the rain, great in even colder weather, but I was just super happy with those tires. So I think I might do that on this because they're cheaper and they don't wear out that long. It's annoying how things cost money. Why do things have to cost money? I don't know. So I want to get H&R springs for it because if you can see, there is quite a substantial wheel gap that I don't fancy it. I could do without it. So the H&R springs won't lower it too much. I think it's like 1.2 inches in the front and 2 inches in the rear, something like that. But just enough to get rid of the gap. And the springs themselves do help with handling, but that's why I also want to do the sway bars as well to really set this car up for corners because it's just fantastic. The torque vectoring, it really works, and I'm getting used to it because it was something to get used to at first, but it's just fantastic. Also, if you made it to this part, I'm gonna apologize. Words are difficult, but I apologize for you progressively watching me sweat. It's like 80 degrees and it's only 10 o'clock. I'm melting. But in the end, I have loved this car. I put, well, I don't want to do math, but I bought the car with 103,000 miles in February of this year, and now I'm at 117,000 miles 7 months later. That shows how much I love this car, and I'm gonna continue loving on it because I just have fun with it. I go to car meets with friends. I've done so many things with cars way above Casper's league, but still I love Casper. I've tested out my all-wheel drive system a few times. I'm not even worried to flex her out every once in a while. I really use this car and I just love driving it. Every time I get behind the wheel of it, you just get that Volvo feeling and it's just intoxicating. But this comes to the end of the video, so I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions below, just let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye peeps.
Are standing strong and free around the world, and that the Volvo brand is looked upon as grand in each and every land, and that our quality is there for all to see, as sure as safety is our main priority in everything we do.